So, you, the leader of a team, you made a mistake. Can you apologize and not lose face about it? Yes, you can. And I'm going to show you how. I've been coaching startup founders and leaders for over 25 years. And I know how to frame an apology that's sincere and also protects your fragile ego. We all have them. If you need to apologize, you need to watch this video. I'm going to review some fundamentals about how to say sorry and keep your ego in check. First, the elephant in the room is right here. That thing on your mind that you really don't want to talk about, right? Nobody likes to apologize. Guess what? I don't think you're surprised if I say I've never met a leader who said, you know, Lila, I enjoy apologizing. I really like to make mistakes and then apologize for them. I like to say sorry. Said no one at any time, ever, and never will. By definition, you're apologizing if you're in the wrong or if you're in a role where you are the visible representative for a mistake or a change in strategy. And that causes pain or disappointment to others. And it doesn't feel good to be wrong or to make a mistake. Come on, nobody likes that. And yet we all make mistakes. It's natural. But that doesn't mean it's going to feel good and that it will ever feel good to apologize. It hurts. It makes you feel bad. It hurts your ego. Here's the thing. You have to get good at apologizing. That's going to help you become a confident and capable leader. And it doesn't have to hurt your ego. Use these 5 tips to apologize sincerely, thoughtfully, and concisely. The first tip to use to not lose face when apologizing is name the mistake or situation and figure out your feelings. This seems obvious, yet I think it gets lost in many apologies. What did you do wrong? What did you forget? How did you disappoint someone? Be clear in your mind which mistake you made. Name it. Write it down. Then you need to begin to understand the implications of it. In other words, you need to know what you're apologizing for or about and what happened as a result. Then you address how you feel about it. You name your feelings, how you feel and why. This is key because if you don't figure out and name how you feel about this mistake, it can be really easy for you to have a less sincere or thoughtful approach in the apology. Are you disappointed in yourself? Are you scared? Are you nervous? Are you angry at yourself? Those are your feelings about your actions, not the feelings you want to convey to the person you're apologizing to. Now, if you've listened to my podcast, The Leadership Shot, you know that I talk a lot about emotional baggage. And this is what I'm talking about. I want you to understand the baggage you have about this apology. If you feel bad that you made a mistake, that's okay. You can be angry at yourself, you can be disappointed, but this is where your ego, your self-esteem, or self-importance can distract you. It's natural and expected to feel a certain way about your actions. At the same time, don't allow your feelings to be in the room or on the call when you apologize. This is about you for now, your feelings. So as you plan your apology, I want you to acknowledge them. Think about them now before you start the apology. Give yourself time, you and your ego, to do what you need to do before you find yourself in the act of apologizing. Now, if you don't give yourself time to process how you feel before you apologize, your ego tends to be the main focus of your apology. It gets in the way. So if you skip this step, processing how you feel and the why, your ego is going to ensure that you end up apologizing in a roundabout, insincere way. I'll talk about that in a moment. Next tip I have for you is I want you to use eye contact. Here's what I want you to keep in mind. If you avoid using eye contact when saying sorry, it sends a message to the other person. It says to them, I'm not here, or I don't care, or I'm avoiding you. It's confusing and insincere to avoid eye contact when apologizing. Your eyes want to match your words, your emotions. You're going to look at the person. Be honest. Be personal. Don't hide. Look directly at the person when apologizing. If you're on a video call, you're going to look at that green dot up there, right? Not at yourself, at that green dot. Give them your eyes. Look at the camera. Also, this isn't roaming eye contact. This is not like I'm going to look for a moment and then I'm going to look away like I'm demonstrating now. This isn't a quick look at somebody and then looking down for a while. Oh, I'm really sorry about that. Let me look back up here. This is eye contact of several seconds at a time. Consistent eye contact. And of course, you're not staring wide eyes at them the whole time. You can still look away, can look down, take a moment to think. But overall, you're showing with your eyes that you're sincere. Now, if you haven't done this before, it's going to feel funny or awkward. And that might be because you aren't happy you're apologizing. But here's what you need to know and remember. You are acting like a leader. You're being honest and sincere and showing it with your body, showing it with your eyes. Powerful leaders apologize with sincerity and presence, and they do it with eye contact. I'm sorry, not I'm sorry. And these leaders develop self awareness to know what apologizing means and that eye contact builds relationships. So, what you're doing, it's going to lead to leadership, powerful leadership. It's not going to detract from it. So, tell yourself and your ego that you're operating as a capable and confident leader. You can even say that to yourself in the mirror. You're doing a great job, leader, because you are. All right, here's what to do next. And this one might surprise you, but it shouldn't. Now, before I get to that, are you enjoying this video? Are you learning something from it? Well, be sure to click to subscribe so you know when my next video is live. All right, the next tip. The next thing you need to do is to use the words, I'm sorry. If you're thinking, come on, Lila, I mean, that sounds really obvious. Maybe, and I'm sure you've been on the receiving end, and I let you know that I'd talk about that, of some so-called apologies that don't include the words, I'm sorry. So when you apologize, I want you to use the words, I'm sorry. Don't beat around the bush or try to apologize in a roundabout way like this. I'm sorry you didn't like what I did. Okay, so I'll take some attitude away from that and do it again. I'm sorry you didn't like what I did. Here's another bad example. I'm sorry you were offended. Those aren't apologies. They are indirectly acknowledging that the other person's the one at fault, not you. I'm sorry you were offended. Even if I don't do it without attitude, I'm sorry you're offended. A little attitude's still there. What you're doing is you're actually saying, oh, it's your problem. And I'm sorry that you're the problem. So don't put the onus of the wrongdoing on the person you're apologizing to. They probably didn't do anything wrong, remember? Because you did. You made the mistake and you're going to apologize. I'll be realistic with you. It can feel tough. This can feel tough. Remember, it's your ego or self-esteem getting at you. Now, I strongly believe you're not taking power away from yourself when you use those words, I'm sorry. This doesn't make you look bad. You're instead growing the respect the other person has for you because you're doing the opposite of how so many leaders operate, issuing an apology without uttering the words, I'm sorry. All right, the next thing to do to apologize and avoid losing face and to build some trust is to share the why and what you've learned. So be very clear. What are you apologizing for? The words are going to be hollow unless you actually indicate the reason behind them. So for example, I am sorry for fill in the blank. I apologize that I did fill in the blank and blank happened as a result of my actions. I also want you to think about what you learned. Prepare to share that. What did you learn from your misstep and how are you going to operate differently in the future? So you're doing more than saying, I'm sorry. You're sharing a story, sharing what you learned and what you're going to do differently the next time. Then, for another tip, I want you to listen. This is a conversation. It's a dialogue. You're not giving an apology and you're done. So remember, conversation, it's a dialogue. Read the other person's body language. You're going to be able to read a lot and think about when it's time for you to speak and when it's time for you to not speak. I want you to create pauses in the conversation, longer pauses than you think you may need to take. That's 3 seconds. That's a really short pause. Let's do 5 seconds. That's still really short. So create pauses in the conversation longer than you think you may need to take. This helps to create space for the other person to speak. And to give them time to speak, actually, to give them time in their brain to figure out what to say. Now, as they speak, you want to be present in the conversation, okay? You're thinking about what's happening right now at this moment, not your next meeting. You're using eye contact, and you're really absorbing what they're saying. In order to do this, I really want you to go back to the idea of emotional baggage. If you've gone through your emotional baggage, this will make listening easier because you'll have feelings about this conversation and about the apology that you've already noted. That was what I asked you to do in the beginning, to prepare. It's very familiar to feel uncomfortable. These are familiar feelings when apologizing, and you're probably going to have to acknowledge some things that you don't want to, but it's part of being a leader. All right, final quick yet crucial thought about listening. I want you to be like a sponge. Don't interrupt, don't push back or defend your actions. And really listen, be there in the moment, like kind of feel your feet on the ground and like look at them and like be there in the moment. Apologizing is humbling experience. I want you to be more prepared when you need to apologize because it's a reality. Your team's looking to you to act as a leader. Now, if you develop a comfort with admitting mistakes and apologizing, you help to develop a sense of trust and responsibility on your team. You demonstrate behaviors that you want them to foster in themselves and with their relationships with their stakeholders. So you're showing them what to do when you apologize. And you don't have to lose your ego and you don't have to lose face. Now, besides apologizing in a sincere way, one thing awesome leaders do is to work well with their own managers. But many people don't know how to do that, and that's because they don't understand the art of managing up, what it really means. So I want you to watch this video here to learn what's true and what's false about managing up. You'll learn how to build or fine-tune a powerful relationship with your manager. Now, if this video has been useful, I would love if you'd click to subscribe to make sure you see the next video I post. Lead with ease, my leadership friends. I'll talk to you again soon.